Good morning, guys. I've hit across a little bit of a problem. I'm running out of round tea bags, but that was inevitable, and I'm now running really short on glue. So I am diversifying and going off on a different tangent. I have got some interesting round tea bags that have been machine sewed. As you can see, lots and lots of stitching. And how on earth have I gone around? It doesn't look at all attractive, but I have been playing around with soluble fabric, and that basically is fabric that you can stitch through, immerse in water, and then it dissolves. So it's just leaving the stitching. Basically, I spoke to my mum yesterday and she said, you need to take yourself out of your comfort zone. So here we go. This is me playing around, as I said, with a different medium. Now, I've looked at my work and I've grabbed some of my ephemera. What I've actually done is, rather than cut up my tea bag fabric, I am thinking about doing a collage. And I literally have been flicking through pieces of old ephemera. So these tea bags here don't go all the way up. I found an old board out in the back of my shed. The tea bags have been stuck onto rust stained and eco stained paper, fabric, and much thinner this time, so it absorbed an awful lot of glue. Then it's been, as I said, placed on a board. So I have been literally thinking about, how am I going to collage this particular piece up? I'd love to have a picture up in my house with some of my vintage ephemera. I've got this pair actually of old shoe forms, and I'm going to try and use one. As you can see, it's old and tattered. I've just for the moment got this grunged up coffee tag around the edge. Obviously this is all to be hung. I've also got to work out how I'm going to actually attach this to this board. Now I absolutely adore measuring sticks, and I have a rather large collection of vintage ephemera. So this is going to have to be cut, and I'm hoping to run this particular measuring stick up the side of my collage. I do have more, but nothing that looks quite as grungy as this particular one. Obviously, I've got pieces of a coffee stained lace or crochet trim in my collection. I've got lovely pieces of vintage sewing. Now, this is one of the little silk skins that I've actually opened up. So I love the fact that this is what is underneath. So I have these little three, and I've got a lovely hint of pink in there. As always, I'm trying to clear my throat because you're the first person I've spoken to. Normally I do this quite early in the morning, my recording. I get up whilst it's all lovely and quiet. Now here is a selection of wonderful ephemera. Over a period of time, I do collect all types of things down the car boot sale. In my case, obviously they've been stopped, social distancing. So I have this little selection. These are people that, dare I say, have passed naturally. So I'm trying to stick to a 1940s theme for the moment. And these are not relatives of mine. As I say, these are bits and pieces that I have collected on my travels. I do have things that at the time would be poignant. I've just got this old newspaper cutting here about Churchill. More wonderful vintage photos, quite a selection here. At some point or other I would have shared, as I go through my collection, when I go on a scavenge hunt is the only way I can describe it. Not everything you would have seen in the past. Now I'm hoping to try and incorporate this particular lady somehow. She looks like a Tim Holtz, doesn't she? The way silhouette type person. We've got poems from periods of time, more vintage photographs. I'm not going to include all of these vintage photographs. I'm really just aiming for finding one or two that quirkily are going to work somehow or other on this tea bag fabric. I got inners for photographs. This would have been where you would have got your negatives. I'm a little bit sceptical. I don't like the concept. I don't tend to scan probably my work, possibly because my printer is not very high class. So it's a matter of working out how and where I'm going to attach this, especially now that I am pretty much out of glue. I've got some of my ephemera, sort of like tags that I've done in the past that I think may go in here. Not too sure about the old cigarette packet, but I just love the fact that it brings back a memory of my grandfather, and he has a photograph which unfortunately is no longer in our collection, which has got his packet of Players Navy Cut cigarettes that were handed to him. I've got letters dated from the 1940s. That's that young lady that I showed you earlier. And I think this would just make for lovely ephemera. This is dated in July 1942 and National Savings Token. I'm not too sure on the age of this particular money envelope, but hey, it's all bits and pieces. This came from my grandfather's drawers. I can remember I've taken the hooks off, and I just love the fact that we've got this dark blue. Probably going to work on a dark blue theme. And then I've just got this envelope here, and it's just the fact it's got stockings repaired by Flying Cleaners Limited. So that's one selection of ephemera. I've got an old fork now. I can't tell you the age, but this fork was found on a walk across the common, and you can see there's a patina on that just, you can't get in this day and age. Another photograph, some buckles, I don't know, a little bit of flower arrangement there, some playing cards. I just got these now. I like her. She could be put down as an image on there, especially with the browns. I love the grungy colour, and yet again I'm not too sure, but there's some age to this particular back on this playing card. Another crocheted doily which has been coffee stained. More sewing ephemera, so this is part of a box. And I think that for the moment is pretty much where I'm going with this. So I have shared that I'm going to try and make a collage. I've shared my tea bags that I have used some water soluble fabric to try and make this sewing attachment hanging. I don't know where I was trying to go with this, but just trying to experiment. And also I am still working in my journal, more playing around here with another product called Fibre DK. Basically it's a polyester product that can be hit with a heat gun, and it literally starts to shrivel up underneath the heat. I've used Treasure Gold, which is like a rub and buff, and I've got it in silver and this amethyst. And this is the same product, but I'll talk about how I got the yellow if anybody's interested at a later date. Anyway guys, I hope you are well, and I will catch up with you soon. Take care. Bye bye.